Hello world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are looking at the US Pluto Return. So I also have a reading after this. I'll have the timestamp down below if you want to just go straight to my tarot reading, because that's what I really do is tarot. I do bring some astrology into it, but that is certainly not my full strength. However, I do have some interesting perspectives, I think, on the US Pluto return that I'm not hearing from other people. I also have a couple other videos if you're more interested in some of the details of the Pluto return that I will have down in the description. So what is the Pluto return? What is a return? What does that even mean? We can take our birth charts. We need to know where we were born, what time we were born, the day we were born, and we can look at our chart and see where all of the planets were at that time. You probably know what your sign is. I'm a Gemini. And then if you want more in-depth information, that's your sun sign, your moon and your rising, and then there's a whole chart around that. Well, countries, some businesses that have been around for a while, organizations, they have birth charts too. And it's widely recognized that the birth of the US was on July 4th, 1776 at 5:10 p.m. in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That is when the Declaration of Independence was signed, and it was declared that the United States was its own sovereign nation. What is interesting about that and at this time is now Pluto on February 22nd, 2022 is going to be at the same position as it was at the birth of the United States. And that has taken some 248 years to come back to that. So it's not really applicable to look at your birth chart and the US birth chart, because I'm not going to say you'll never experience a Pluto return. It is possible, who knows, with the way that technology is going. But generally, people do not experience a Pluto return because we do not have that long life expectancy. So what's the significance of this and what is Pluto? So Pluto, also known as Hades in mythology, is the god of the underworld, the god of death, the god of change. And when we're looking at this, it seems like some things are really ramping up and changing in the United States. Now, I do want to be clear that just because it's going to be at the exact position on February 22nd, it doesn't mean that this hasn't been coming on for a long time. Pluto is currently in Capricorn, and it has been in Capricorn since 2008. So if you think about your life since 2008, yeah, there's been some major changes. And Capricorn rules like government systems, like our healthcare system, our financial system. These are huge systems. And I didn't look it up, but I almost want to say that cryptocurrency came out in 2008, that Bitcoin came out in 2008. That is a major shift in the way that currencies have been in the past. So that is, we're going through this whole major shift. A lot of people have some fear around it. When we're talking about our financial systems and we're talking about humans who don't necessarily like change, yeah, we've got some fear. That seems like a big thing. But I want to make it clear that, and even the death card in tarot, that's the card of change, or the Tower card in tarot, that's a card of change as well. People have a lot of fear around those cards, but usually we have transformative moments right before we have huge moments of growth. We just have this really top heavy, and let me know if you feel like it's different in your experience. But to me, the government is super top heavy right now. We have so much spending. We have so much, it just feels overwhelming. It feels like an encroachment on freedoms, which is where I'm going with this, is that we are going from in even bigger than the Pluto is. We're going from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. So I feel like this is a huge, and I haven't really heard this perspective and other people talking about the Pluto return, but I feel like this is a huge catalyst to really push us into the age of Aquarius. Now the difference being is that the age of Pisces, these ages last 2200 years. So it's often called like the Christ age. It's the age where there is a small minority of elites, whether it's in the church or in the government or in an organization, that push their views and govern other people, which sometimes that's not bad. Sometimes we have like really good leaders or good rulers or well-meaning people that really do know well, and they help us through those things. And there's a lot of people who have really surrendered their lives to these larger entities. So, you know, that's kind of what we've grown up with for the past 2,000 years, a couple hundred years. So I don't want to like anybody who feels like they're looking for safety, they're looking for direction, they're looking for finances, they're looking for money from these larger entities. That's not your fault. That's how it's been. That's how we have really traditionally thought of our society, and how it we have like the 10 Commandments, for instance. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those, but I'm saying that there is the small minority of people who have dictated how our society should be. Now, psychology might say a couple different things about that, but that is the highlight of the age of Pisces. The age of Aquarius is much more individualistic, is much more freeing, is much more freedom, is much more focused on the individual. And the other interesting thing is this whole, as I'm talking about the Pluto return, Pluto is currently in Capricorn and has been since 2008. The Pluto return happening February 22nd, 2022. It will shift out and shift back in a couple of times because it moves much slower than the Earth does. So the Earth, if you're thinking about how the Earth rotates around the sun and how Pluto rotates around the sun because it's much farther out, the Earth kind of catches up with it. If you want some more information about that as well, again, I've got videos done by other people that explain that in more detail. But Pluto finally shifts out of Capricorn into Aquarius on November 19th, 2024. So buckle up, Buttercup. We've got some bumpy rides to go through. But the important thing to remember is that change is a catalyst for some really, really good things that I feel like I'm seeing we as a society and as a people, and I know me individually, and you can let me know in the comments if you are individually as well, have been asking for, have been wanting, have been needing. In fact, it's really interesting, and again, this is my own personal observation, that I feel like the politicians that we elect run on kind of these, like, I value what you're saying. I am the champion for you. I am the person who fights for you. That cannot possibly be true. And there's millions of people voting. You don't have all of my best interest at heart. The only person who can do that is me. Not even my husband. He knows that. He can't dictate or fulfill all of my needs. I have to do that myself. And I feel like we're pulling that back, especially going into the age of Aquarius. And I'm super excited to be here because the important thing about you and about me, and the reason that we're here at this time, is that we are setting this intention that we are the ones. And this is a little foreshadowing into my tarot reading because I already done it. We're the ones who are planting the seeds for the future. And that's the exact reason that we're here, babies. That's why we're here. And it may seem like the house is burning down. It may, and sometimes that needs to happen. The tower moment, that tower being pulled down, well, it was built on something that wasn't sustainable. Or it just got completely out of control, and we need to go back down to the foundation so we can build back up again. And that is what I really wanted to tell you, that I felt called to tell you, that I've been getting in through meditation and my work with the cards, that I feel like you really need to hear at this moment, that it does kind of seem a little sketchy, a little scary. Yeah, it's going to be like that, and that's okay. There is room for you. There's room for everyone. And, is it going to be easy? Probably not. And we're talking about and I can tell you from my personal experience, the last couple of years have not been easy at all for me. And that's okay. Hold that intention, hold that, just stand here in your strength, don't back down, put that intention out there that whatever is coming is going to be better than it is right now. And whatever is pulled away from you, whatever you feel like you're losing right now, you're going to be gaining so much more as we come into the future. And you might not have it right now. You might feel like, oh my gosh, inflation has been ridiculous and out of control, and there goes my savings. I get that. It's real. I'm feeling that myself, but we're setting the intention that going forward, we're going to be earning like Elon Musk. We're going to be as easy as it is for Elon, as easy it is for Jeff Bezos to create this wealth. We're going to let that elevate ourselves to that level, and that's how I feel, and that's what I'm seeing with my, again, readings and meditations. And I'd love to hear what you're thinking about it. And again, this is some astrology based. So if you're interested in more of the astrology behind it, I will link some videos that explain it. Oh, and I also wanted to mention that, yeah, this seems really super scary, but there are other nations who've gone through Pluto returns, and it may not, okay, I'm thinking of like Russia, their Pluto return, Stalin died. Okay, it may not have been great for Stalin, but he was awful. He did some really terrible things, and it was ultimately a good thing for that nation. For France, Napoleon died. For Great Britain has been around for a long time. Remember, they're the world kind of superpower. They're who the United States has broken away from. They're who Canada has broken away from, to create their own nation. What is it? Something like 60 countries, maybe more, celebrate the day that they were liberated from Great Britain. So they've been around for a while. And one of their Pluto returns was the end of slavery for their nation and their colonies. So it's not a terrible thing. It may feel like that. It may feel overwhelming. We need to, take care of ourselves. We need to hold the intention that things are going to be better. And this is something we're just going to have to, it's going to be a bumpy road. I said, buckle up, buttercups. But I feel like it can be super exciting too. And I, for one, am really excited about it. I know it's going to be difficult, and I don't know, I'm weird like that. I know that, the hurt is kind of empowering sometimes. It lets you know that you're alive. It lets you know that you're doing something, and you are absolutely needed and wanted and doing the exact right thing at this time. Hello. and welcome to the tarot card portion of this. So I'm going to limit this to like the next 6 months, really, because Pluto return is a long time and we've been in it for a long time, and there's going to be some shifts. So it's going to come back, and then we're going to be in the shadow, and then it's going to come back. There's a lot of dates because, you know, Pluto is just out there. So it's going to take a while. We're going from February 22nd through November of 2023. So there's a lot of time involved here. And when we've got the Knight of Earth, this is talking about being in it for the long haul and having a vision. And it's really interesting that we juxtapose that with the Knight of Air, because it's going to feel like hurry up and slow down, and hurry up and slow down, and hurry up and slow down. But I love that, you know, we have the two knights here. These knights are kind of like, I feel like taking things into our own hands, setting the intention, like what is it that we really want our world to be, and what is it that we really want to create, and to move forward with that. And maybe we aren't the masters of it yet, because the masters of it would be the kings and the queens, right? We're not, but we're seeing what's going on around us and we're reacting. And but I want to start over here, or at least go back over here to the Five of Fire, Five of Wands. This says, conflict with others caused by opposing opinions. Walk away from drama unless the situation is really worth your time. Then stand up for yourself. And then very ambitious people. I feel like this whole thing can seem like very ambitious for us, because really what we can get out of this is we're crafting a new world. We're entering a new age, the age of Aquarius, and we are here. So we get to be the ones to imprint and put in what we want. Another element of the Five of Wands is a conflict. Conflict with other people, but sometimes those conflicts are kind of imagined, or sometimes those conflicts don't have to be negative. I really feel like the difference between the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords, because both of them show conflict between people, is that the Five of Wands is when you have a conflict and you're speaking, you know, speaking out about it with that other person that you're in conflict with, that it can help you, that it can elevate you, that competition, because this has an element of competition in it as well, and can elevate you and make you better, make you a better person, make the situation better. And I feel like a really great thing that's coming out right now when we go from the age of Pisces, the Piscean age, which was lasted about 12 or 2,000 years, a little over 2,200 years, something like that. And we're moving into the Aquarian age, is that we have been kind of conditioned for hundreds and thousands of years, really, that the opinions of the elite matter, right? That, oh, well, they must know better. They're ruling their monarchy. They must know better. They must know what's good for us. You know, they've achieved this high status, a lot of times through birth, not really by any actions or things that they've done of their own, but they must know. But really, you know that I feel like this is bringing it back. And especially when we go from the Five of Wands to the Six of Wands, this is bringing it back to you and what you know, and your opinion, and your existence is vitally important. You aren't a worker ant. You aren't a worker bee. And I feel like the Piscean age is very much kind of structured like that. And we have evolved past that. We are humans. We're bigger than that, and every person and our opinions matter. When we talk about minorities, historically, like, minorities haven't had a voice. And, you know, it's really interesting when we're talking about the US, because the US does give minorities a voice much bigger than other countries. And now we're kind of like, I think part of the death or the the whole Plutonian energy coming in right now, and this changing is like, you know what, I realize that things aren't perfect here, but there are some really great things and we don't want to let those go. And I feel like just you being here, it's important to set that intention that, okay, these are really great things that we have had and that we have evolved into, and we want to keep that. What we want to let go of, though, is the elite class pushing their agendas, or not necessarily, like, they can push whatever they want, right? I mean, we're individuals, we can do whatever we want, but being transparent with that us knowing that there isn't this monopoly, and we're seeing that with the media, that we just do not accept what we're being told. And I don't know about you, but in my world, when I go out and interact with people, it is so different than what is portrayed on the news. It is just completely different. And even if you've been involved in a news story, which, you know, you may have or may not, sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing, but it really, you can see if you have, like, you see what's going on around you, then you watch it on TV, and they only, you know, it's not necessarily always their fault, because they only give like a split second to give you an idea of what's going on out there. But it's so different than what reality actually is. Somebody's profile, and that can be like very negative. Somebody's profile on Instagram is so different than what they really are in real life, and we cannot keep comparing ourselves to that. So I was kind of off on a little tangent there. But with the advent of technology, we do all have a voice, and I feel like this Knight of Air it talks about us projecting our voice and using our voice. But let's talk about the Knight of Pentacles here for a second. Loyal, dedication, protective, apprehension, because we are a little apprehensive just because of our ego and just because of our structure. I'm talking about the structure of our mind. Change is not something that we all fully embrace. If you do, that's wonderful. And that is something that you probably worked on very hard. But a lot of people, change is not something that is really easy for us. Even small changes. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about my supermarket, how when they change things up and they move things around, it really upsets me. So even small changes. Pay attention to the details. Wait for perfect timing. A guardian angel or someone who watches over you. And I feel like this is really important to understand that there is a much larger picture, and that in the moment, sometimes things feel out of control, and it is just kind of important to take a step back, understand, like, even if you don't believe in guardian angels or spirit guides, which I do, you know, even if you're just following astrology, I imagine that you're interested in astrology if you're watching this video, that there is like a higher, like, these things move and there's a cycle to things, and this too shall pass. So, but like I said, the details of where we're going and what we want to do, we can put that intention out there, and we can project what we're looking for and what we want. Plan carefully before action. I feel like that might be really important at this time when things are kind of like up in the air and kind of a little crazy. You might take a look at things from different perspectives, but understand that ultimately, like, somebody is looking out for you, that you are, like, you're here for a reason. And then we've got the Knight of Air, decisive, focused, driven, defensive, events that move with great speed, Choose intellectual responses to challenges rather than emotional. I think that is very important. Sudden and unexpected changes, and review your options carefully. So just more about like, hey, we're gonna have some conflict with other people, either real or perceived. Sometimes this might not be so real. We've got this person here looking in the mirror and thinking that we've got like 4 enemies in front of us. Really, it's just a reflection or a projection of ourselves. So I think this is really important when we talk about trying to be logical about things. It's really easy to go, oh my gosh, we've got this Pluto return, and have like a very emotional response to it. And I've seen a lot of people talking about it in a very emotional way. Again, that goes back to our ego, that goes back to us not liking change. But think of it logically. There are so many people who are upset right now, and they're upset for a reason, that things are just not right, that things are just not, let's say, fair. And I get it that life isn't fair, but to continually perpetuate a system that isn't fair, well, I think we can do better. And I think that's what is really driving this. And again, put your own intentions out there, because look what we have here. We have a victory. Wise choices that bring public recognition and success, promotions, awards, or scholarships. So it is something that while we're going through it, it feels like a lot of conflict. It feels like there's a lot of weight. It feels really heavy and a lot of pressure. But I feel like that we just need to kind of be almost like that's, be very calm, be very collective. I don't want to say silent, because we definitely want to use our voice here, but use it logically and for the right reasons. And let's see, I'm just deciding what cards to pick up here. And I think that'll be, ultimately, it's amazing, because we, like this Knight of Pentacles here, he is the one who, like, he's planting these fields, he's planting these seeds. We're here at this time to plant seeds. We're here at this time to set intentions so that the world can be created in a better way, or our country can be created in a better way, and then, of course, impact the world. We have poised, so very interesting, and just, I love and then all that glitters. Now, usually all that glitters isn't gold, and I feel like it's really important coming over here with the Knight of Air, that to investigate those things, that things don't necessarily are, that it's glittery and pretty. And I was saying something about, our Instagram lives aren't necessarily our real lives. So when you have like initial impression of something that looks really great, maybe I can think of a leader right now who is young and attractive, but is actually a tyrant. I don't want to be too political, but those things happen. Looking underneath the surface, all that glitters. I think a lot of politicians are like that, though, that they say these like really glittery, gold gilded words, and we're like, yes, that's my person. And then we kind of just vote them in and give them a pass for all the awful things that they do. And they all are guilty of this. The insider trading, they make trades and then vote on things and then reap the rewards of that. And that isn't fair. Poised is just kind of like here, standing in our power. Very much reminds me here of the 6 of Wands energy. And this whole victory thing is again, setting that intention on victory, seeing yourself there, putting that idea out there that the way that this is going to come together is going to come together for you and for everyone else in a, like I keep saying, like in a better way. Just this whole poised is calm and collected. Very much kind of related to this Knight of Air here, as we're just being ready, bringing something to life and being at your best and having the confidence, because even though this Knight of Pentacles, actually all of these figures look very confident in what they're doing and they believe in themselves. The Knight of Pentacles would probably be like, if I had to pick one, the least confident of it. But he's the one who is putting this plan together and crafting it. And then once you have the plan, start pushing it and really believing in yourself. I feel like this is a lot of very kind of individual energy as well. That it's not you going out there and preaching to other people and telling them what they need to do. That's what's been happening. This is more of a, you know what, this is the right move for me. This is the right move for my family. This is how I love myself. This is how I treat myself. And start from there, start from you. It really much reminds me of the Mother Teresa quote of, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. Because you cannot think about what's going on in a third world country and really impact that. Most of us, there are people who can, but most of us are just not on that level. The other thing is a lot of people who thought that they could and they've gone off and they've done these, they go there and for religious purposes and reasons. Some of them have done really good work, but some of them have just kind of set some things back. Like, we don't really understand what's going on in that country. Can we, I remember when I was scrapbooking, there were certain papers and things like that that came from different countries. And yeah, you can support that. If there's microloans that you can do, there's small things, but that's all supporting individuals, you as a person supporting other individuals and having an immediate impact. I love the idea of microloans because there's websites that do that and it just puts you in with people to do that. And what has been happening is like, okay, well, I really care about this particular subject in another country and I'm going to get the government to do something about it. And then the government raises a bunch of money through taxes and then has to create a system to implement it and to push it over there. And then they give it to somebody who isn't really going to use it. And then the end user gets like pennies on the dollar, if at all, if it's not stolen through all of that. That's coming through as like something that really needs to change. Is we need to stop listening to other people and start, and what I mean by listening to other people, listening to authorities, listening to the elite, and start, because sometimes that just does not, first of all, they just say things that sound really good, but they don't follow through on that. And if you want to look into the money that went to Haiti for their the Haitian relief, there was billions of dollars raised and it did not go to the Haitian people. And that was not a government thing. That was, remember, there was a telethon. I believe that's when Kanye West went on TV and said that George Bush hated black people. So this is something that's been happening for a long time. That I believe that was what that was. But anyway, that money did not go to the intended people, and it was just because we created this like big huge system. We would have been better off doing microloans, and now we have the technology to do that. Anyway, very interesting. I hope this helped you. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know what you're seeing, because I know your perspective is unique to you and it's completely different than mine. And that's exactly the point here, is that everybody is living their own lives through their own expected, their own events that are happening around them. And it's crazy how different your perspective is from somebody else, even somebody who essentially grew up in the same environment as you. Like, think of your brothers and sisters and your family. So how can we have this overreaching system that is best for everyone? It's not. It's usually best for the politicians who make the rules, who make the laws. And I feel like that's what's breaking down and changing right now. And it can seem really scary because they see it as scary and they're telling you that it's scary and they're telling you you should be scared. But again, we all have our own perspectives. So let me know if any of this resonated. Let me know what you're seeing. Let me know how you're feeling about the Pluto return and what you feel about it. I would love to know your perspective and know what you're thinking. Thank you so much.